Hello, everybody. This is Zaxter99. Now, at the end of a dramatic season ending in season 6 of the Walking Dead TV show, this was what we saw. The evil character named Negan, playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo with our beloved survivors in this iconic TV show. It left us all breathless, and many of us very angry and frustrated that we heard the sounds of this barbed wire wrapped bat smacking in and crushing the head of one of our beloved survivors. But we never saw any glimpse. We never got any hints at who suffered this devastating fate to the hands of this truly evil monster, Negan. Well, in my first video, predicting what's going to happen when we tune in less than 2 weeks now to the new season opener for season 7, I am predicting an episode that will go down in TV history as one of the absolute most shocking, most disturbing, and most talked about TV shows of all time. Now, before we get to my prediction on what's going to happen in this opening episode for season 7, let's go back and think about what happened in season 6. We saw a couple of instances where a lot of people thought Glenn had finally been taken, where Glenn's life had ended, including this scene where it looked like zombies were ripping into his intestines and tearing him apart. But it just happened that one of the other survivors, a very disliked character, fell on top of him, and they were actually tearing into him, and Glenn was able to roll under a dumpster and escape. There was also another scene towards the end of the season where Glenn looked like he was trapped by a horde of zombies in the town, and he managed to get away there as well, and it looked really, really bad there for a few scary moments. Now, if we go to the comics, the actual Walking Dead comics, when Negan takes the life of one of her survivors, it is indeed Glenn. Now, a lot of people have been predicting that it's either going to be Glenn or Daryl, and a lot of people think it might be Daryl because Daryl wasn't even in the Walking Dead comics. But I think that last season, with the couple of scares that Glenn had, I think that was kind of our hints, or foreshadowing, will you, that it is indeed going to be Glenn that meets his fate when we tune in on October 23rd to watch what happens. I think it will be Glenn that we heard his head being smashed by Lucille, the barbed wire wrapped baseball bat that Negan uses as a weapon, a devastating weapon in the scene. But let me ask you a question. If I'm correct, and that was indeed Glenn that had the unfortunate luck to be at the end of the eeny, meeny, miny, mo of Negan, we know that Maggie, who was pregnant with Glenn's baby growing inside of her, was not in very good shape in that scene and before that scene. But I think that Maggie's love for Glenn was so great. In fact, they have had a very much talked about and even very iconic relationship for many seasons now in The Walking Dead. It all started back, I believe, in season 2, if I'm not mistaken, when they met and when they first kissed. So for a long time, Maggie and Glenn have been one of the hottest couples on TV. And now she's pregnant with his kid. There's been a lot of scares, a lot of scary moments for these two over the past many seasons. In my prediction, I believe that Glenn will definitely meet his fate. I think it's going to shock and horrify the survivors who have to look on to a character who was truly a hero so many times. A character that they all respected. And while a lot of them are going to have to hold their mouths from screaming or saying something, or maybe hold back from charging at Negan with Lucille as he puts Glenn to death, one character, Maggie, even in her state, I predict isn't going to be able to hold back. She's going to scream. She's going to go into a rage. And I expect her to get up and charge at Negan. Now, if we go back and we remember what Negan said before he did that eeny, meeny, miny, mo, he said that he was going to kill whoever he chose, whoever Lucille chose. And he also threatened the whole group that if anybody tried to intrude or if anybody tried to stop him, he would take them out without hesitation, no matter who it was. I predict one of the most shocking, one of the most devastating scenes, not when Glenn is taken out, that's going to be bad enough, but when Negan kills the pregnant Maggie. We've seen a teaser that AMC recently released where Rick can barely hold tears back in a scene where he threatens Negan and threatens to kill Negan. He says, may not be today, it won't be tomorrow, but I will kill you. And that's when Negan grabs Rick and throws him across the parking lot and throws him in a trailer. We see that in the sneak peek. And I'll have a link down below where you guys can take a look at that if you have not seen that yet. Also, to support my prediction, there was a recent ComicCon convention where the host of the Talking Dead TV show, which usually airs right after The Walking Dead, he talks to all of the actors who play in The Walking Dead, and he directs a question at Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie. And he asks her if she would, do anything different if she was strong enough, or if she was stronger in that scene, or the scene that we're going to see. And this question puts Lauren Cohan in an emotional and crying mess. She breaks down, she cries, and Stephen Yeun, the actor who plays Glenn, has to reach over and comfort her. I'll have a link down as well if you guys want to watch the Comic-Con convention. It lasts about an hour. It's pretty entertaining if you guys miss that. So yes, I'd like to know what you guys think. Obviously, there's been a lot of predictions about who Negan's, going to kill in this episode all summer long. Ever since we saw that final episode of Season 6 back in April. A lot of people think it's going to be Daryl. A lot of people predicting it's going to be Glenn. A lot of people saying that it's going to be Glenn and Abraham. I know there's a lot of different predictions out there. But let me ask you guys, how shocking would it be if my prediction is right and Glenn dies and then we watch Negan in some way kill the pregnant Maggie? If it does happen, you know that these guys producing The Walking Dead are going to make this as absolutely emotional as they can. They are going to try to put as many viewers with a mouth agape and shock and tears in a lot of our eyes. They are going to do it the most emotional, the most heartbreaking, and the most shocking way that they can. So I'm going to ask you guys, what would you guys think if I was right? What would you guys think if both Glenn and Maggie and maybe someone else are killed when we tune in to the first episode of season 7 later this month? I'm probably wrong with my prediction, but I always knew that I wanted to make some prediction before season 7 starts, and it hasn't been until now that I've got enough information to really make a prediction. I want to go ahead and add one more thing that I forgot. One more thing that could be support for my prediction. There is a scene in the teaser trailer that shows the gore, or some gore, left on the parking lot in that scene. And we see this ring in these body parts and blood and gore. This ring sure looks a lot like the same ring that Glenn took off a zombie and used to propose to Maggie a few seasons ago. Now, it could be something else. It may not be a ring. It may be a different ring. But it sure looks like that same ring if you look at this. Could it be? Could it be that Maggie's going to meet her fate? I know one thing. I'm probably wrong, but I know one thing, that I'm definitely going to be there when season 7 begins and airs on AMC. Just like so many millions of you out there are also going to be tuning in to watch and see exactly who met their fate and what's going to happen. It's going to be an exciting episode for sure, and probably a very exciting, thrilling season 7 of The Walking Dead. Be sure you leave your comments down below, guys. Be sure you let me know what you guys think. Be sure you let me know what you think of this video. Be sure you give me a thumbs up if you like it. And leave those comments down below, guys. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Zaxter99 with my prediction on what's going to happen and who's going to meet their fate when Season 7 airs here real soon on AMC.